The village woke up to the sound of drums, loud and urgent, calling everyone to the center. It was the day the virgin girls would disappear, never to be seen again. In a small village nestled at the foot of a great mountain, there was an old custom, a strange and frightening one. Every few years, the elders would choose a few young girls from the village, always virgins, and take them into the forest. No one knew exactly what happened to them there, but the stories told in hushed voices spoke of sacrifices, rituals, and disappearances. Tel, a young girl of 16, had heard the whispers all her life. She never imagined she would be one of them. But the drums told her otherwise. That morning, the elders came to her house. They wore long robes and spoke in a language no one understood. They came for Tel. Her mother's face was pale, her hands shaking as she handed Tel over. "You must go," she said quietly. "It is the law of the land." Tel didn't know what to feel. She had heard the older women speak of it, how they had once been chosen, and how they had returned, but changed, their eyes distant, their voices soft. They never spoke of what had happened to them in the forest. The fear in her mother's eyes was enough to make Tel's heart race, but she did not argue. She had no choice. The journey to the forest was long and silent. The elders led them, their steps sure and swift, as though they knew the path. Tel and the other girls, all young and frightened, followed behind, the weight of fear heavy in their chests. The trees grew thicker as they went, their branches blocking out the sun, casting everything in a shadow. When they reached the clearing, Tel saw a large stone in the middle of the open space. The elders gathered around it, murmuring in low voices. Tel stood still, watching, her heart thumping loudly in her chest. The air grew colder, and suddenly, the elders turned to face them. "You are here for a reason," one elder said, his voice deep and commanding. "The forest chooses its own." Before Tel could ask what that meant, the ground beneath her feet began to tremble. The trees shook, their branches creaking. Something in the forest was alive, watching them. Then, in a flash, everything went quiet. One by one, the girls were called to the stone. As each one stepped forward, the elders placed their hands on her head, muttering words in the ancient tongue. When it was Tel's turn, she stepped forward, her knees weak with fear. She felt a strange warmth in her body, a power she couldn't understand. The elder touched her forehead, and for a moment, her mind went blank. When she opened her eyes again, the world had changed. The stone was gone. The elders were gone. And the other girls. They, too, had vanished. Tel was alone. The forest had claimed her, but what the forest wanted, she would never know. She wandered through the trees, calling for the others, but there was no answer. The drums in the village had stopped. The day she had feared had come, and no one would ever speak of it again. From that day on, the village would never speak of the virgin girls who disappeared into the forest. Tel was one of them, and the world would never know what had truly happened.